Hi everyone, welcome to this new Gamersyde Live. Tonight we are going to show you again, but since it's the major game of the moment, we're going to show you the Surge. This time not running on PC, but on PlayStation 4 Pro, so it's still at 60 FPS. So, and as usual, tonight Driftwood is going to do the playing and also a lot of talking.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Surge. We actually did a preview live stream something like a month ago, maybe a bit more, a bit less, can't remember exactly. And we've been playing. I've been playing the Surge on PC for about a week, and I actually tried the PS4 version yesterday to give you some footage this morning. Well, since I completed the first zone, and that's something we showed during the preview live stream.
Maybe you should not rotate around that much, because that bitmap rotating around is not pretty.
I'm just going to go back to the game. So that's the area that we've shown before, and
sure is.
And I'm going to well, remind you of the basics of the game, and I'll take you to the second big area that you visit. There are not levels per se, because for example the second area, when you leave it, you'll come back to it and unlock new zones, because you'll be able to unlock doors that you can't unlock in the beginning, and so it's well, it's let's say it's sci-fi Dark Souls. A lot of people will agree on that. It's a stamina-based type of game. It's a genre that From Software has actually made very popular with the Dark Souls series and Bloodborne and Demon Souls, of course, in the beginning. And the main novelty in the Surge, which has been developed by the team behind Lord of the Fallen, which was actually well, not very well received by the press and by some players, but there are fans and people who actually enjoy the game for what it was. As far as I'm concerned, I basically played about 30 minutes of Lord of the Fallen, so I'm not going to be able to compare. What struck me when I did play the beginning was that it was very slow-paced, and that was something that I didn't quite like, to be honest. Even if Dark Souls is not like a Neo, it's not something.
It can be depending on your build.
Yeah, I guess, but most of the time it's a bit slower, I would say. And the thing is, this time they've heard all the complaints regarding the pace and how fast the characters could be, and the character could be, and it's a lot different. But the new thing with compared to the Dark Souls series, for example, is that you can actually lock onto body parts, and some are armored, like everything that's yellow is armored basically, and what's blue is not, and so it's weaker if you hit that spot. And you can actually dismember your enemies, which is how you loot everything. So say here, if I want to get that arm, which I actually can't, because for that I need to be able to do my execution move basically, and this can be done with the energy bar, the blue bar. You have the health bar and the stamina bar, the green bar, and you have a blue bar, which is the energy bar, which is also something that is very specific to the Surge. And you can see there's a small red icon on the blue bar that looks like a seesaw somehow. I'm not too sure. And when the blue bar that I actually fill up and I can build up by hitting my enemies, when it fills up, I can actually reach that icon, and when it's actually lit up, I can use my finishing move by holding the square button. Once you have launched your finishing move, it can't be stopped, and if someone attacks you, you're safe. But you can be stopped before the the full circle is actually available for you to actually finish your enemy. It's a game you also have to be very careful. You need to be very cautious all the time, because basically you can die just like in a Dark Souls game in a matter of seconds. And yeah, it's I think I've been playing the final game for something like 15 hours, I would say. I'm not too sure, because the I think the counter on Steam might include my time on the preview build. I'm not sure. It says something like 20 hours. I did a lot of farming, I have to confess, and also I was beaten quite a lot by some of the bosses. Even the first one, actually, that I knew by heart when doing the videos yesterday for the PS4 version. I had a bit of a hard time doing it right for some reason, because my character was maybe a bit weaker than I was used to. And
did you do the same build on both character? Actually, can you do the different builds?
Oh, you can. That's something I'm going to show now before we take the train to the next area. So basically you have well, you have actually your main character in specs, and you have the rig you have. You can see that the gear set I have on the left is almost complete. I need the helmet and the I think the body part, the what they call the yeah, the body gear that I don't have. It's not the one that fits with the arms and the legs and everything. I have a few weapons that I can use, different weapons, like very big ones. That's the one I've used a lot. I used a lot in the beginning, and you can see it in action in the PC videos. That's the one you get when you beat the first boss. Like in the Souls series, when you beat a boss, you get to use something that he had as a weapon. Something that I also found that I looted somewhere, I can't remember where. That's also a weapon I got from one of the guys, the trash mobs that you can find, and that are all very dangerous. And this is a staff. It's not like a very efficient one, but it's still yeah, the damage is pretty good. And for each weapon you have impact, attack speed, proficiency scaling, which is also very reminiscent of the Souls series, and energy gain. And you know, depending on your play style and what you want, you're going to choose something, or sometimes you're going to switch, because some enemies might be it might be easier with a heavy weapon, and sometimes you want to be very fast. Like this is a weapon I like, because you can, it's like Wolverine basically. And
so you're saying that proficiency scaling is like Dark Souls? You mean like a dex weapon, a strength weapon, something like that?
Yeah,
but
the more
there's only one thing that can scale a weapon, scale with your character. It's not like there is many different way to scale.
The more you use it, and the more proficiency you get. And and weapons have proficiency scaling, which means even for this one it's very low. And I'm trying to figure out everything, because as I said, I haven't completed the game, and you know, it's not like they explain everything to you. And
do you have a proficiency stat somewhere?
Well, yeah, I do.
Scale as you use it.
Where is it? If I like here on the bottom left corner of the screen, there's I'm 7. That's the proficiency with that the weapon I have. And okay, I'm soon to be 8.
It's not at all like Dark Souls, because Dark Souls the weapon doesn't scale with how you use it.
No. It's
when you upgrade it.
Yeah, I said that's reminiscent, because there's some scaling involved, but not because it's right, done in the same way. That was maybe awkward to say that like that. And so I was showing the rest, so that you have headgears and everything, and you can basically well, this one I can, but you can have different sets if you want, you know, if you can, because the equipment you get and you have depends on your core power and how much core power you have, and that's something you need to upgrade at what is basically it's called ops. It's the place where you can upgrade things. You can change some of your implants. Some of your implants can be changed, like those that are hot swapped can be hot swap implants can be changed anywhere, but the hardwired one and the other ones, yeah, you need to have the station to do that. And if you want to equip each implant, they're like buffs that will improve your health or allow you to use injectables to get your health back when you're hit, and many other things, even energy also. Everything uses power. So you can't, when you reach the limit, I mean, you can't add anything more, or you can, for example, wear everything you want. So you need to upgrade your core power regularly, which will also actually give you a bit more health. It's basically the only thing that it will add. And every, I don't know, like say, sometimes you get to unlock a new slot to add another implant. Like here, for example, I need to be level 35 and then 45, and then you'll find new basically, how do you call that, like a new what's the name again? I can't remember. Basically what you have to carry everything, you'll be able to have more things opening after that, which means it's not 45 and then that's it. It's 45 and then it will be 60, and you'll be able to get a better suit as you progress into the game, which will also allow you the core power to get special loot, because there are places you can overcharge, so either to open up doors or to get the electricity back in one place, or sometimes simply to get an implant, like a bonus implant that's only available if you reach level 70, for example.
So it's just a black screen when you on board the train?
Yeah, the thing is, I think the reason, at least on PC and PS4, is that the loading screens are very short. So, but I wish they could have maybe added like
I didn't think they were allowed to do that on consoles. I think the GRC forced them to put something on the screen.
There's a map. Yeah, there's a map for most of the loading time, and then at the very end there's a black screen for maybe 1-2 seconds. Like, I didn't count.
Okay.
And maybe they could have added like some sort of cutscene where you see the train, and that would have been nice. So
so this is the we're outside the preview zone now.
Yeah, that's the second area you go to. And you'll find a lot of these screens with that guy. With every launch, the integrity of our atmosphere is being strengthened. And stories is not told like in a Dark Souls game where it's very cryptic and you need to really look for the story. You'll have audio logs. You'll have these things giving you information about Creo, which is that place you were supposed to work for before everything went to hell. And it's pretty well done, I have to say. You hear about that Project Resolve, which is basically a way to save the planet because there's a big environment crisis. And I haven't seen much of the story in terms of what's going on. I wouldn't be able to tell you, and I wouldn't tell you anyway, even if I knew. But it's probably more. The story is told more like in a Dead Space game than in a Dark Souls game, except that you don't. Well, actually, I don't remember if there were cutscenes in Dead Space, but there are no cutscenes except for the intro. And this is when you get the drone, which is basically the only way you can actually shoot at enemies. Although I have to say, I haven't found it particularly useful, and it's probably because I haven't found anything to upgrade it yet very much. But it's convenient. Can
you give him order or things like that, or is just following and shooting whatever you are attacking?
No, basically you press Y when you need the drone to do something, and he'll do what he can in the time he has. And then when you unlock that power to unlock doors which are locked, and then you get access to new areas. And but to use the drone, you need to see there's a drone icon on the energy bar, which is that sort of birdie thing before my finishing move thing. And the place of that icon will also depend on your gear. And if your gear is uses more or less energy and everything, you can have that lower sooner in the bar, which means you'll be able to use the drone more quickly, for example. So that's something
almost like a combo.
More or less, it's like you need to build up the meter before you can. Well, of course, to finish an enemy, you first need to damage him enough for you to be able to actually kill him. But if you haven't reached that finishing move icon, you're not going to be able to launch that attack anyway. So you can use your drone, and I can, of course, to attack enemies, which will actually draw them out sometimes, which can be convenient. And this is what I was talking about.
The bow and arrows in Dark Souls.
Yeah,
a bit.
But well, let's say that it can damage enemies a bit when you're in combat, but it's not a really big help, and at least from what I've seen, maybe it changes after that. So that's ops, where you can actually usually upgrade, except here I need first to find a place to overcharge the area to bring the electricity back here. The med bay is where you there's no souls in the surge. It's basically scrap that you get from killing enemies, and scrap can be stored, which means you don't, if you go back to ops, you can store everything, and then you don't need to use it right away, and then you can just go back to exploring, and then you're safe. But every time you go back to medbay, of course, the enemies spawn back where they used to be. So that's also a choice you have to make, which is, again, well, it's not something that we need to explain today.
It's not their idea.
Take care.
So we're going to see that the enemies here are probably a bit tougher than the ones I left.
So is there at least some variety in the enemy design, or just always people inside armors?
There are also like big robots that I particularly don't like because they are pretty deadly, and different sorts of robots. Oh, there's a bad guy with a very big weapon. Something you can do that I am not very good at. You can also actually jump, which I didn't here. I would like to show you, but
Safety risk detected. Please stand by.
So, you can see that they hit pretty hard.
Yeah.
I was trying to
almost dead into it. Yeah.
I would have wanted you to see.
Elevated. No admittance at this time.
Okay, so he's going back to to his spot because, well, that's something they can do that just like in Dark Souls, and they're not going to follow you around too much. So I would like him to try to hit me, and I'll try to show you what you can do. But apparently that is not really willing to.
Can you do backstabs and things like that, like in Dark Souls?
Not too sure actually. Sometimes you get special moves when you block and counter, and sometimes that I think they're like not exactly backstabs, but things you can do. But I have never really truly seen anything, when attacking from behind, where you can kill your enemy in just one attack.
Okay.
I've seen that a few times when, I don't know if it's because I was blocking or if it was something else, that the guy, and there's one video, I'm not too sure which one, where actually goes back where he was coming from, and that looks pretty neat, because it's like, okay, what do you want with me? And so I actually put everything back online, which means if I go back to ops now, I can use the upgrade station, which allows me to upgrade, but also to build the things that I've looted. So the body parts. Let's say I have a new weapon, I can craft it here, and I can upgrade those I have, and I can also destroy some of the things I found to have more materials to create what I want. And this takes time, of course, because you need to find the resources, and you need to have the tech scrap to be able to do it, of course. But actually, you actually it can be pretty quick. Something you should be aware of, because I didn't realize it when playing the game. Maybe I missed a tutorial or something. You have consumables when you actually get scrap from the body of an enemy. You get scrap that, you know, from killing him. But sometimes you can actually collect more scrap, and this is stored in the consumables tab. And this, just like the souls you have in Dark Souls that you can collect, this you can use to, well, you need to go to the proper option menu to then store it to your ops center. And I didn't know that, which means when I realized it, I had like maybe 60,000 scrap available, which allowed me to actually
well,
improve
it's
my
nice to get a nice surprise like this.
Yeah, it was very nice. It was okay. I can go up to level I don't know, 40 or 50 all of a sudden. Something I like also about the combat system is that there are combos depending on, you know, you have two buttons. It's not like in most games, it's not high and low, or like heavy attacks or light attacks. It's more like vertical or horizontal attacks. And depending on what you do, see, there's this. But if you do twice and this, you'll do that. You can also jump like this and try to attack your enemy from above. You can well, I'm going to try to rip his arm. You can also be careful, because the problem I have is when you have a very heavy weapon or heavy gear, the enemies is not going to be able to break your attacks. But when you're with something lighter, like, you know, the weapon I'm using, there's a big chance that you know, is going to be able to break your attack, and to
a bit like the poise stat in Dark Souls.
So these guys over there, I'm not going to show you because they're going to beat the crap out of me. They're really even one of them, it takes a while to kill them, and it's I would say even if I can play the game, that's something that I wouldn't be sure if I can survive the combat. So, like, typical example here, you have one guy on the left. I know that there's one guy on the right, and if they see me, they can join the party. And you don't want to have too many people around you. So one thing you can do is you can use your drone like this to get his attention, and then take care of him.
To aggro in the official term.
Yeah, the official term, exactly. Even in French, actually. That's something that... And now I can actually finish him. And get some nice...
You can walk inside the flames.
Yeah.
There's no problem.
Yeah, no, you're not going to burn. There are environmental hazards that you'll want to avoid.
Yeah, we saw some green mist in the beginning of the stream. That was it, yeah.
Yeah, for example, sometimes also there are things that the enemies will actually use against you. There are, ooh, that guy came here, that's the first. And these guys are using the same...
Yeah.
and they're yeah, they're not very nice.
Neither are you. Oh, hello.
And you can pause
Oh,
the game.
you're not nice.
No, I'm not nice. This is actually not nice.
Yeah, you've got 5 minutes left.
And one of the implants I have is that every time I actually pull off a finish move, I get a bit health back, which I like. And of course, you'll be able to find better implants, like for example, the version of the implant which gives life back when you achieve a finishing move, but you get more health. And it's very convenient, and it encourages you to explore and try to find as many things as you can. So weapons and implants and everything. And I'm going to try to show you that they are also. So you know, enemies hiding. You should always be prepared. Of course, here I know exactly where they are, so that makes it easier. You can see, you can hear that there's someone behind that door. So there are NPCs that you can help. But for that I need to overcharge, which is, you know, okay, because I'm above 13. That's my core power level. And then I can open the door.
Damn. Thanks, man. I thought I was stuck in here for good.
And you'll be able to help
NPC are actually moving in there?
I appreciate it, really.
Well, you find them and then they go back to ops. Some of them actually wander around, and you find them sometimes on, you know, when you're exploring.
Name's Davey, man.
Saying this because in Dark Souls, no one is moving. When you talk to them or something like that, you just have to leave the zone for them to go to somewhere else.
Well, you're not going to see him leave this place.
Okay.
So it's, yeah, pretty similar. But when you know, he stood up. Actually, didn't stay.
Yeah, it's, wow, progress, I guess.
And you can see some of the level over here. And of course, contrary to Dark Souls, where you needed to find bonfires, and bonfires were many, especially in the third installment in the series, where there were many bonfires in each area. It's different here because there's only one op center in each big zone, which means you'll actually unlock shortcuts, and sometimes you won't realize it's a shortcut, but thankfully they've added which is pretty normal because it's a factory thing, it's a facility, but there are signs that you can find. See, okay, there's a sign indicating that, you know, that's the direction to get to the op center. And this is comforting, but at the same time you're not sure how far it is and how difficult it's going to be to get there. But when you reach that place, and there's another NPC over there, when you manage to go back to, oh, forgot you were there.
Hello.
When you manage to go back to the op center, it's the sense of achievement you have in a Dark Souls game.
Yeah, it's more like the first Dark Souls, where the bonfires were quite a long. There was a lot of space between the bonfires, and like well, I don't know, 3 but 2. There were a lot more of them, and so Dark Souls 1 relied a lot on shortcuts. And opening a shortcut, well, in Dark Souls you more or less knew it was a shortcut, and it was always a very big achievement, because you knew that, all right, I'm going to get that some Estus, and that's always a good thing.
So here you can see that that guy is actually using the big weapon I had in most of my videos, but with that thing next to him, it can shoot, and I have a problem. Thing is, I can use my drone, and there's a little buggy thing with the drone, because, well, it can be convenient for you, and it's more convenient for you than it is for your enemies. Your enemies won't be able to shoot through walls, but sometimes they'll be able to shoot through breakable crates. It happened to me once, but here you'll see that the drone can actually shoot through the big metal thing, and that's a bit awkward. So there are a few things like that, which I have to say, as long as it's not against me, I don't truly mind. It's a bit of a shame, because you're like, oh, the rest is pretty well done, but sometimes there are a few buggy things like that. But
right, so it's time.
Work it's time. Just I'm going to try to show you that you can use the environment to, you know, actually surprise enemies from behind if you don't want to. And I also wanted to show you that I really think the one thing that the game does very nicely is the way they use the lighting to
yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's quite atmospheric. Yeah, even though it's not, you're not going to see it's a facility, so
it's an industrial setting.
Yeah, it's not really exotic compared to what you can see in a Dark Souls game, but there are really pretty atmospheric moments I've seen in the 15 hours so I've played, and the things you can see. You see over there, there's someone actually looking for something in the scrap over there. You can see sometimes enemies, and you can actually, like I said, you don't realize exactly where you were. You say, okay, I come from that bridge, and then, but where was I first? And then you realize that you see that sign, see, okay, Ops is right there. Oh, except there's that guy who actually looks pretty pissed. And you should be careful because you can fall to your death. Even during a finishing move, actually, which happened to me. I was trying to, finish that guy, and my character fell to his death. Which is okay because here there was it seemed locked. There was something. There was like a door, but you can break it, and there's something that I didn't know first, and then you can go back to Ops, and this is exactly where we're going to stop because we are out of time, and actually we're a bit late, but I still wanted to show you that. Okay, let's open that door. So see here, you can break this. You can hear there's a guy over there. Doesn't seem to be feeling quite okay.
Yep.
And Ops is just... Oops. Here. We're back.
Right.
Shouldn't you be at your
And actually,
site?
I could have
Please
used
remember,
that, passage right from the start.
Priority,
Except,
and should
first
be
time I
yours.
came here, I didn't realize there was actually a way down. And so, it's so far, I've been having fun. The third boss had me try a bit too many times for my liking, I would say. But I hear there are not a lot of bosses in the game. I heard 5, not sure. So I don't know if I'll be as positive when I complete the game, when I see all of it. But what I've seen of it is pretty enjoyable. I like the combat system. I like that depending on the type of weapon you have, it feels different. And the combination with the implants, you can, if you want more, injectables, you can have several of them equipped. So like I have a specific setup I use when when there's a boss fight, because I know, okay, I'm not going to be needing my energy that much, so I'll be relying a lot on health injectables and maybe health or stamina, to have more stamina, for example. And I like that. You can see that tonight you could see the health bar of the enemies, because I have an implant actually allowing that, and it doesn't actually cost any core power consumption, so it's nice, but it actually costs a slot. And in the videos I posted today, the PC videos, I've been playing without, which is a bit more difficult because you never really know when your enemies are going to go down. So you do what you want. It's just, if you don't want to store your scrap at Ops, at the Ops Center, and you want to risk losing it more, as in a Dark Souls game, you can do that too. But so far, it's a pretty nice surprise, and I like this sci-fi element. It's a Souls game, but it's in a different setting, and that's fine by me. And since I haven't played all the Dark Souls and Bloodborne games, I don't have the Souls fatigue that some people might have. So that's it's not a AAA game, but it's pretty well done, and I like the looks, I like the graphics, and I think for a focused interactive game, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's all about the content.
Yeah, well, so far I've been having fun, but maybe some people would disagree. But it's clearly not a bad game. That I can tell.
Right.
Now we'll see what happens when I complete it.
Yep, indeed. All right, so next live, well, whenever we've got something to show, I guess.
I guess I have no idea what's going to happen in the next few days. We're supposed to. I think at some point we'll be getting Rhyme. I'm not sure if will be in events or not. There's also that, I think it's Perception, that horror game where you play that blind woman. I don't know if we'll play it live, but I don't know, why not? And a few things. It's there will be Dirt 4 in June, so maybe we'll also get the game early.
Well, there will also E3 in June, where we'll, well, not in English, but we will do maybe we will see some live commentary on the the various conferences.
You don't want us to ruin your conferences in English, so we'll be doing it in French to actually help the French people who do not want to listen to the official translators, who usually do a very terrible job, and they want to listen to us because they don't have anything else to do. And hopefully there'll be videos thanks to Miguel, who will be on site for a few days, so they'll be content. Live stream, I don't know, but we'll keep you posted.
No, I don't think so. All right, see you guys.
See you.